how's it going everyone? Today I'll be giving a detailed tour of the NX at night, showing all of its exterior lighting, its interior lighting with the Thematic Ambient Illumination. I'll also cover the mirrors and the cameras at night, and finally wrap it up with a night drive. Let's jump right in. And starting at the front, I've said this before in my owner's review, so please forgive me, but I have to say it again. The NX headlights are absolutely stunning at night, particularly the triple beam LED modules. They are optional, but honestly they're a must-have for being certified head turners. Now showing all the lighting configurations, we have the daytime running lights, nighttime low beams, high beams, and fog lights. Now these lights are auto leveling, but they are not adaptive side to side. We do, however, have cornering lamps that turn on either when you engage the turn signals or when you turn the steering wheel past a certain angle. But we'll go over more details on just how well these work in the driving portion. Not to be outdone by the headlights, the tail lights of the NX are gorgeous in their own right as well. We have the full width blade lights overlapping and almost floating above the more traditional L-shaped lights in most Lexus models. I love how wide and flared out the L-shaped lights are. It really accentuates the aggressive stance of the NX. And cleverly, the turn signals are nested in the gaps between the lighting modules as well. And of course, it's worth mentioning that all the exterior lightings are LED, as you would expect in this price range. Now, before stepping inside, one interesting thing to note is that as we approach the vehicle with the key fob, the door handles on the driver and the passenger sides will light up, and actually part of the interior dome lights as well. This is actually really handy if you ever just need to take a quick peek inside the vehicle. And moving on to the interior lighting, we'll start with the ceiling dome lights. So there's 4 lights in the front, 2 on each side. If I tap the front one, that turns on the left and the right side together, and also the rear seat dome lights as well. So it's actually a very handy way to light up the whole cabin. If I tap the back ones, that turns on the left and right sides individually. Now to sync the lights of the doors, we have this switch. So if that's green, the lights will turn on if I open the door. And to desync the lights, we can just press this button, and the lights will not turn on anymore if I open the door unless I manually tap the lights. And I say tap because these are not like a switch or a button. There's no tactile feedback. They're touch sensitive. So you literally just tap them with your fingers. It's kind of interesting and actually kind of neat. Now for the rear dome lights, it's actually just a regular button. And to my knowledge, there's no way you can individually sync or desync the rear dome lights to the doors like you can in older cars. So these will actually always follow the front light behavior, which in my opinion isn't too big of an issue. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the interior lighting. The dome lights do light up the cabin really well, and there's local lighting just about everywhere you would need them. This includes the cargo area with 2 lights, 1 on each side, and also 1 on the hatch itself. And of course you have the vanity light, but also there's the glove box light, and there's even a center console light. And moving on to the Thematic Ambient lights, so we have that along every single door trim, and actually it's on every door handle as well, although it's pretty faint in that area. The most prominent area is definitely in the front passenger and driver footwells, and actually there's also ambient lighting in the center console as well, right along where the wireless charging pad is. Now to customize the ambient lights, we can go to settings, vehicle customize, and illumination. So we can actually adjust the brightness of all the zones together, although it's a pretty conservative system already, so I can't imagine anybody's going to turn down the brightness. But also you can go into by zones, so I can just turn off the front door trims or the rear door trims, or I can just dim the footwells in the front individually. Now for the color theme, we have a whole slew of presets available, or if we go to custom, that allows us to pick up to 64 different color combinations, I believe. Now one thing to note is that you cannot choose a different color for each zone, so you can adjust the brightness of the zones individually, but the color gets applied to all the zones. Now I guess this may depend on the color of your streetlights or in the area in general, but I have noticed that not all colors pop the same way. So this is sunset. This usually doesn't pop very well for me, at least not out on the streets. Rainforest is not bad, so green in general pops pretty well in all conditions, I find. But my personal favorite has to be Meteor. This is a very unique purple, and also pops at night as well in most conditions that I have found. This was Afterglow. Afterglow is not bad as well. This is kind of like a bright pink. Now the flare red also pops a lot, but it kind of not really going for that aggressive ambiance, so probably just stick with Meteor. Overall, I like the implementation of the ambient lights. It is a huge step up from the previous generation, but it's still pretty conservative overall, which I don't have a problem with, except I feel like they really could have added more lighting on this dashboard, kind of similar to the RX. In fact, this dashboard is almost unacceptably plain in this price range. So however unlikely, I'm really hoping Lexus can address this in a mid-cycle refresh for the NX. And moving on to the mirrors, we do have auto-dimming driver side mirror, as well as auto-dimming rear view mirror, but not the passenger side mirrors. And on paper, that's kind of a bummer, but it really hasn't been too big of an issue for me. It's just a lot rarer to be blinded by the passenger side mirror. Now for the rear view mirror, there's a digital feed coming from a camera in the back. Now during the day, this is the nice to have because it's just a noticeably wider view, but at night it's truly amazing because the camera automatically adjusts the exposure in the surrounding. So yes, it can get a little grainy and a little noisy if it's pitch black outside, but overall the video feed just provides you with a lot more clarity and detail, and you just see so much more than you otherwise would with the regular mirror. So this is now one of the things that I cannot drive without in the future. It's really amazing. As for the 360 cameras, the resolution and details are fantastic even at night for the front facing and as well as reversing. Now one interesting thing that I noticed is that both of the cornering lamps will turn on when you reverse. So if I go back to the front view, they'll gradually turn off. If I go reverse, both of the cornering lamps will turn back on. So I don't think they really add that much visibility to the back. I don't know if that helps prevent you from clipping the front end as you're reversing, or it's just an extra indication to other drivers that you're reversing maybe. I'm really not sure, but it's definitely an interesting quirk. Quick side note, a lot of you are interested in the self-parking demo, so I'll be working on that next. So consider subscribing if you haven't already, and stay tuned. And moving on to all the screens, so the brightness of the gauge cluster can be adjusted by this button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, like so. And for the heads-up display, the brightness can be adjusted either in the center screen menu, or actually you can customize the right-hand steering switches to be able to adjust the brightness right from the steering wheel. And for the center screen, the brightness can be adjusted in the menu as well, or you can set the automatic theme selection to reduce the brightness at night, or you can turn off the screen completely as well. Now the automatic theme selection has worked pretty well for me. Personally, I've never felt like I had to turn off the screen per se. Now that being said, it'll still be really nice if Lexus can add an additional customizable button to the right-hand side steering switch, just in case if you ever want to like quickly turn off the screen. That would be really convenient. And as we get into the night drive, let's take a look at the headlight startup sequence. You can see it's doing its auto leveling, some fancy animations. And right off the bat, this is a fantastic low beam pattern. You can see that on the straightaway, it's really bright, and it still stays decently bright along the sides as well. But not only is it bright, you can see that the brightness is very focused. See that distinct cutoff line in the light in the grass? So this gives me a lot of confidence that the headlights is bright but without blinding other drivers. But we'll take it out on the road and see just how well the low beams perform, as well as the adaptive auto high beams. Okay, now starting the drive here, we are in a darker part of town, and up ahead it's gonna be pretty pitch black. So right now the high beams are set to auto, they're still off. And there we go, the high beams just came on. And hopefully we have some cars coming. So there you can see that, so we do have a cyclist up front, but when this car passes, hopefully you'll be able to see that on the left side there. It just turned back on. And right now it is lighting at the cyclist. Oh, just turned off. And here when it's pitch black, you can really see just how well the headlight system does with the low beams and also the high beams. It just gives you so much confidence as a driver, so much visibility. And I have been driving for about 2-3 months now in this car. I've actually just left the headlights to, the high beams to auto, and I've actually have not been flashed at yet, at least. So, okay, as that car passes, we should see that that left side will light back up. Okay, maybe it's waiting for this car now. Oh, there's another car come in. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but you can kind of see that. Okay, that was, you can see that the high beams are kind of filling in as that car passed. That was amazing. Okay, now we're getting onto a pitch black section of the road. You can see on the left hand side, it's all lighting up the trees. So it's really good visibility, and I can see the field on the right hand side as well. It's not just bright up ahead. It's avoiding these two cars, which is good. And now there's no cars in front of me. Now it's really lighting up the front of the road in front of me. I think if I were to catch up to the car in front of me, it would be a lot darker, like in the middle. It's not too bad. Yeah, you can see just how much of the road is lit up along the sides as well. And there, the front headlights, okay, you can see there on the front headlights, sorry, the high beams just turned on in the middle section, and as that car came around the corner, it turned off. Now it's back on. So yeah, it's definitely also sensing the car that is in front of me right now. So now the front portion is turned off, so we're not blinding the person in front. And now I cannot see that car, so you can see the front high beams just brightened. Now it's turned off because we have it back in sight. So the NX has received the highest IIHS headlight rating for the previous generation and this generation as well. And it's easy to see why. Like again, this headlight system works really well, as we've demonstrated just now. And in regards to the lack of the adaptive side-to-side capability, the cornering lamps works really well on the road as well. So here's a demonstration of the cornering lamps when it is basically pitch black outside. You can see that it's lighting up the side of the road really well. So between just how well the headlights perform at night with the added ambiance of the Thematic Illumination, I have to say, I've really enjoyed driving the NX at night. And I almost look forward to night drives, to be quite honest, because I used to dread night driving for two main reasons. The first one is I usually get blinded on the driver's side and the rear view mirror, so with this car it's not an issue anymore. And second, the biggest one is really just road illumination and visibility, right? And we've already gone through with the NX, even the low beam pattern is really bright and also really focused. But with the auto adaptive high beams, it puts it on a whole new level. Like it really lights up the road without blinding other drivers. Like I get pretty conscious about blinding other drivers, and I know with this car that I'm confident that it's not blinding other drivers. So that's a really, really nice bonus. And that wraps it up for the NX Night Tour. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the self-parking demo and any other future updates. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the bonus B-roll.